So this entire reading is going to be about our spiritual and earthly transformation being under fire. Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Welcome to FaerieQuest. In this episode of Ask the Fairies, we are going to ask them what they foresee for us in the upcoming week, which involves December 21st through the 27th of 2020. So let's get these shuffled and see what cards the fairies are going to bring forth this time. There are a number of things happening over this week. I'm not a real astrology buff. In other words, I haven't mastered or even come close to mastering anything about astrology. And I just know that there's something about Saturn and Jupiter being conjunct or lined up. Not exactly sure what that involves. And also, we have Christmas. So for those of you who plan on celebrating whatever way you plan on celebrating, I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas, whichever way you prefer. All right, so we're going to pull the cards and see what the fairies are going to share. All right, card number 1. We have the 8 of Diamonds. Card number 2, we have the 5 of Spades. Card number 3, we have the 9 of Hearts. Can't seem to get that one to focus. Sorry about that. And we have the King of Hearts. All right, so those are the 4 cards for the upcoming week. So let's take a look and see what the fairies have to share with us. Okay, so let's take a real quick first impressions of the cards here. We have a diamond in its natural position. We have a spade, finally, even though it is not in the spade position we would like it to be in. We have a heart in the heart position, and then we have a heart at the bottom. The only card we do not have is a club, and that is very, very important here. So let's move on with the readings, starting with the 8 of Diamonds here. That is the gist of this entire reading. It being it's in its natural position, it makes it very, very important in this reading. What the fairies are telling us with this 8 of Diamonds is that our spirituality, both inner and outer, meaning inner spirituality that has to do with consciousness and creativity and inspiration, and our outer, which is basically money. All this is under fire right now. So this entire reading is going to be about our spiritual and earthly transformation being under fire. The 8 of Diamonds is considered, in this deck, is considered the house of good fortune. And that means that seeds that have been planted a while back are now coming to fruition, or will, sometime during this next year, towards autumn. And this means goals and money ideas and such. Now, this was where things were at before everything started going awry. Okay, people had started businesses, things were looking good, money was coming in, all those things. And then suddenly those things began being removed. Now, this is also a picture of those in power, with a lot of money. Okay, they live in the mansion, and for them it is a house of good fortune because they're in control. Everything is in control. Now, whether that's an illusion or not, this card does not share that. This is truly what it's all about. It is about money and control. That's all it is. Whereas for us as individuals, it is using the creativity and the individuality and who we are in general to create the earthly transformation for ourselves, meaning finding what home we want and decorating that home and discovering what job we would rather be doing and so on and so forth. Those are creative, inspirational things that each one of us has been striving for that brings us in money enough to live, if not more so. But it was getting to the point in time where many of us were finding our place in the universe, so to speak. And the timing of, planetary alignments and winter solstice, which is the 21st of December, and so on, all these things, and so many full moons and everything happening in our universe at this time points to how crazy of an upheaval that we must experience as we move from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age. It seems right now that the end of the Piscean age is favoring those with the money, and those with the money are taking control. Those people are kind of like this 5 of spades. In this deck, that's called the Circle of Crows. If you've ever seen the movie The Birds, where all the birds are, in that yard, and they have to walk through those birds, and those birds are watching, and they're just waiting for those birds to attack them. They have to do everything as quietly as possible and keep everything as secretive as possible. And that's what this card reminds us of. These crows don't miss a thing. And there's something very unsettling about being watched by these crows. It makes a person feel trapped, victimized. And that's where we seem to be right now, because it's almost as though we have no power at all, which is not the case according to the fairies. However, this is how it's appearing. And this spade is in the position of the club. And as we've talked about before, club cards are about communication. Club cards are about thinking for ourselves. Club cards are about ideas. And the clubs and the diamonds are very compatible. It is the ideas that make it possible for the diamond to follow through with those ideas and that communication. The two work hand in hand, but we don't have a club here because those in power have made sure that those things are very, very difficult. And that is what they are trying to take away, is that individuality that we have to make our inner and outer world the way we want it. So basically, this card is a crossroads. We have a choice as individuals as to where we want our lives to be, how we want our lives to be. But you might be asking now, how do we fight that power, that money? So we move on here to the Heart card in its natural position, and this is the 9 of Hearts, a card that is the heart of the matter. What keeps us from taking our lives and continuing on as we were before, or not allowing the all-powerful monetary ones to dictate how things are going to be? What stops that? And the secret here is human emotion. We are a very emotional race. we were made with emotion, and that's what makes us human. That emotion also makes us very vulnerable, okay? So this card here is showing emotion out of control. The fear that has been going on concerning the air, and you know what that's about if you've been following the readings here. But this lack of control is actually controlling how we are reacting to all that is going on. This reaction dictates where we stand. If your emotion is out of control, and that means just terrified of everything, perhaps you have 50 face apparatuses just in case. One in your purse, one in your pocket, one in your glove box, one on your visor, 5 right inside the door, and so on. That's a bit of overkill. That shows that your emotions and your fears are really dictating your action. And, this is not how you would normally be, but that emotion brings up so much in insecurity, and you're just so much wanting somebody to take it all away for you. The thing of it is that no one can do that for you. On the other side of this coin, the number 9, the vibration of that number 9 is humanitarianism. When people take an active concern in what's happening with other people, and I don't mean from a negative standpoint of, oh, you're a bad person because you won't wear a face apparatus. Not like that. I'm talking compassion and caring, true caring. For instance, giving a meal to a homeless person or giving clothing to someone in need. Putting your focus on fellow man rather than yourself. Then this card turns into a positive card rather than a negative card. And that's kind of the crossroads here. Is this overreaction who we really are? Is that how you want to live your life? The fairies want to know, how do you want to live your life? Do you want to live it in fear and insecurity and all your dependence on someone else that obviously does not want to allow you to have your freedoms? Or do you want to give as much as you possibly can to your fellow man and, lift yourself up, work together to gain back the power that you've had all along and live without the fear, live without the insecurities, not be a victim? The fairies are telling us there's no need to be a victim. We are powerful spiritual beings. We just need to have a fire put under our earthly beings to realize where we stand in the whole scheme of things. Now this last card, this King of Hearts, his name is Nehemiah in this deck. And he is a fun king. He is a king that loves everyone and loves to party and wants to make sure that there's food and wine and music and everything good for everyone. Now that is us. It really is. This is us. It is what we would like to see, the majority of us anyway, the ones who aren't controlled by our emotions. We want the best for everyone. We want everything in abundance for everyone. No struggle for anyone at all. And the fairies are saying that is possible, but everybody has to jump on board and not allow their emotions to take them away and to choose the non-emotional path. The other side of this, King Nehemiah, is those in power. This is how they're living. As they are removing work, money, our individuality. Again, this is the club. Our ability to breathe air. They're just having a heyday with that. And as you can see, it's kind of a smug look here on this king, and he has his wine in hand, and he is listening to music, where they're not allowing any of that for us at this time. With this game that is being played, they lack for nothing as they remove things from us. That's our money, our creativity, our air, our self-esteem, and make us react in fear and insecurities. So the fairies are saying, you're under fire. What are you going to do about it? We've given you, week after week, ideas about how to raise your vibration. Now they're talking the humanitarian aspect as well. Start focusing on other people, not so much on yourself, and watch the fear slowly give way to caring instead. If you're caring for other people, you don't have time to necessarily worry about yourself. We can't let this be how those in power are. They don't really love us. They love themselves. And they love what's happening here. They love having it all. And they love watching us struggle. So the fairies are saying, you know, you have this opportunity to take it all back. You don't have to worry about this or this. If you put the power back in your own hands and you take seriously this house of good fortune, which dictates a wonderful spiritual and earthly transformation with no interference. So that is the reading for this week of December 21st through the 27th. So here's wishing all of you a wonderful winter solstice and also a very Merry Christmas. Take what you can from this reading, discard what you don't feel you need, and we will see you again next week. Take care.